There we are. Good afternoon, everyone. I think. Hold on a second. Let me do something here really quickly. All right. So that should do it. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. This is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living. That's right. We're living limitless lives. And I'm so excited. We're in another week. And as we go through this week, as you know what we do, we are beginning our fast. Usually do that right after my meeting here at lunch. We're a little behind today. Some things came up, and so, but here we are. I'm excited because I get to come and hang out with you and get to see all the things that you're doing and to hear about the successes that you're having, right? So that's a very important one. And so right now I am getting ready to start the fast. I've got right in front of me what I'm going to eat to start this fast. My last meal before the fast begins. Got a little different look today, but we're trying out a few things. We'll see how this goes. But I've got that right here. So wherever you're joining me from, whatever platform you're on right now, whether it's LinkedIn or Twitch or Instagram, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube, of course, we welcome you to this space. Special shout out to our accelerator members who are out there and coming to hang out with us. If you are watching this because you saw our content at your church, your doctor's office, at a community center, at one of the health rallies or health fairs that we've been doing, we welcome you. Special shout out to Atlanta Berean, Riverside Chapel in Nashville, and the Louisville Church there in Louisville, Kentucky. Thank you for being here. And then wherever you are, just do this. Wherever you're joining me from, go ahead and drop that in the chat because I'd love to say hello and say welcome to you as we go through our space today. Okay, and of course I got my food right in front of me that we're going to take a look at here in just a minute to see what I'm going to eat as the last meal. You know, this week we've been talking about constructing boundaries, creating boundaries that last, and I can't tell you the number of people that I talked to just today who, as I discuss with them what's going on with respect to their health, it is not a quote unquote health related issue. It is a boundary or scheduling or whatever, right? So the pathology, the disease is doing what it does, but it is the fact that our boundaries and our schedules are not such that keeps us in line, in sync with what we say we want. That's where we run into our issues. And so this week we've been talking about boundaries. If you've not done so yet, make sure you get over and watch the show that we did on Monday, just yesterday, as we launched our week. Make sure you do that. And then, of course, we've got our MOVE campaign that's going on right now, metabolic optimization via exercise. We love that. I'm excited about all that's going on there in that space. So make sure that you get over there. Make sure you watch that. I've got, let's see. See, do I have that on here? I've got it on here, but I don't think there's sound to it. But let's go ahead and we're going to play just a couple of, we're going to play just a little bit of it so you can see what that looks like. Here we go. And so that is that's the promo that we've been doing, and just so excited that we're working on that, and it gives a space for people to come aside and for us to be able to do the things that we need to do for our health. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can just come and you can just plug in. Okay, and then I do see some of our community members out there. So let's see if we can get, oh, let's see, where are we? Let's get some of those comments on screen. I think I may need to do this a little differently, but that's okay. All right, here we are. Yeah, we're gonna have to do it a little differently, but that's okay. That's all right. So glad that you're here. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for hanging out with us. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at what I have um, for my meal for today. And let's see. Here we are. Okay. Now that looks a little dark. Let's see. Let me do it a little differently. Okay. So here is my salad, and it is a salad that comes from one of our local places that was brought in. And I usually, when I used to get this, I would get a salad. Well, actually, didn't get a salad. I got a bowl, a pasta bowl, and I would get meatballs on top of the pasta bowl. And so what I told them today was to change it to a salad, and this looks like a Caesar salad, maybe, yeah, looks like a Caesar salad. And I still went ahead and told them to keep the meatballs because I want to see what that looks like. And so the meatballs, they come like this. Let's see, there we go. There we go. Okay. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have this salad. This is a Caesar salad, and we're going to add those meatballs on top of it. And the reason I'm doing that is because, let me grab my fork, right? Often people will talk to me about going into a space or being in a condition where they say, well, I don't have anything that I can eat, or I normally get this, I really like this, but I don't know how to put that together. And so in this case, what I'm going to do, and I'm actually going to switch back to this view. I know it's a little dark, but that's okay. We're gonna look at it anyway. All right. So what I want to do is I'm going to, right. So here's my salad. All right. So that's what that looks like. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that salad and I'm going to put those meatballs on top of it. Okay. What I'm going to do first, though, is I'm going to get rid of the croutons. Right, we'll get so take some of those croutons off of there. Um, boom, boom, boom. Right. And not it's not that I don't like croutons, but if you've been following us for a while, you understand that those croutons are a huge component of the carbohydrates that are in this salad. And so I just want to get those off because if I'm going to eat some carbs, I want to eat some carbs, some of the other kind of carbs that I like, right? So I don't want to waste my carbs on croutons. Go ahead and get that off of there. And man, they really put some croutons on this thing, didn't they? All right, so there it is. And it's a Caesar salad. So as you know, for a Caesar, and I should have gotten maybe a garden salad. For a Caesar salad, there's not much in here other than that we have some cheese and croutons. So some cheese, lettuce, and croutons basically is what's here. And so there we go. We got that off. Let's get this off to the side. And so let's switch back to this view so you can see what's left. All right, so that is what is left from the salad, okay, of what's there. And then on top of that, we're going to add so we're going to add these meatballs. So what is the significance of this? And the significance of this is that if you have your default meal, right, your default meal that you're creating, and right, if you have a default meal, then you can be anywhere really. Move it out to this way. Yeah, you can be anywhere, and you can create that meal because you already have an idea of what the components are. Okay, we understand. So in this case, we've got some lettuce and we've got the protein. So there's not a lot. So if we go through balanced bites, remember balanced bites is that process that we talk about. Let me go ahead and pull that up really quickly. So here's our balanced bites. So balanced bites is this idea that we are using whole foods, right? We're minimizing processed foods, no added sugar, lean protein, healthy snacks, right? So those are the things that we're looking at. Lean protein, healthy snacks. We've got starchy and non-starchy vegetables, and we're leaning more towards the non-starchy vegetables. We want to make sure that we have tasty and flavorful food, and we also want to make sure that it is portion controlled. Because often it's not that people are eating the wrong thing, but they're eating things that are they're eating too much. Okay, so there we are. Okay, so that should be a little better for you in terms of color. All right, so let's change this angle just a little bit, right about there. There we go. Okay, okay, so that's what the salad looks like, and so now we have the lettuce, we've got the um, protein from the meatballs. So let's walk through balanced bites again. So whole foods, and obviously the lettuce. The meatballs are not whole because they were processed, which brings us to the second one. So processed. Um, Also, minimize low sugar. So the dressing that we have probably has some sugar in it. Lean protein, and that would come back to the meatballs. As there's not a whole lot of other things that are on here. Healthy fats, and so that would be cheese, be the meatballs themselves. That would be fats that are coming from the salad dressing, right? And so notice as we're going through this, right, we're doing the best in the situation. Let me move my hands out of the way, right? So we're doing the best in the situation, right? So this is what was brought. I didn't go and do anything else. What I did was I took the croutons off of this, added the meatballs, and we're gonna go from there, right? So lean protein, healthy fats, starchy and non-starchy vegetables, and in this right now, not a lot of starchy vegetables, so this is actually pretty good, right, compared to what we could be having. And then portion control. This is probably a little bit bigger than a portion, but because I don't have anything else on it, the lettuce, right? I probably more than a portion of lettuce, but that is compensating for the other things that I've taken out. Okay, so remember that your meal is a combination of things. So if we are decreasing calories elsewhere, then those calories can be taken up, or those components can be taken up with something else. And then, of course, we've got the salad dressing that we're going to do, and flavorful. Yeah, I'm anticipating that it's going to taste good. All right, so I haven't had it yet, haven't tasted it yet, but hey, let's do it. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to get some of this salad dressing. And get some of the salad dressing off on here. And so basically what we're doing is we are creating the meal. We're creating the meal in the situation. We're creating the meal in this situation. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pop the balance bites up again for you so that you can remember what that looks like, what we should be doing, right? So what we're thinking about. So here's balance bites. So whole foods, minimize processed foods, no added sugar, lean protein and healthy fats, starchy and non-starchy vegetables. We want it to be tasty and flavorful, and we want to make sure that it is portion controlled. So all those things together is what makes up balanced bites. So as we talk about balanced bites, that's what we're looking at. Okay. All right. So let's get me back up here. And let's take a look at this view. All right, so here we are. So now you see the food on one side, you see me on the other side. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna grab a fork, and I'm going to dig into this. And the reason I start with salad, because remember, salad gives me bulk. It helps me to stay fuller longer. I've got nutrients in there. The fiber helps to blunt the absorption of any sugar that I'm eating. Mm. And that is good. Now, I wish I had a little different type of protein, right? Maybe a steak or some chicken. But guess what? This is what I got. So one of the concepts that I want to talk about when it comes to boundaries is this idea of the predetermination. And the predetermination has to do with what your defaults are. Right? What is your default meal? When you travel, what's your default meal? When you travel, what's your default exercise? When you travel, what is your default mindset renewal practice? A couple of weeks ago, we talked about what is your non-negotiable, and you were supposed to come up with a food non-negotiable, come up with a movement non-negotiable, and come up with a mindset non-negotiable. And so one of the things that probably should be in your food non-negotiable is that default meal, right? What's going to be the meal that, regardless of where you are, you can always put it together. And it's not a matter of settling. And let me say that. Let me turn this just a little bit. It's not a matter of settling, but it is making sure that you are able to maintain the structure that you've put in place. So are there going to be times where I do something different? Sure. Like this week we're traveling. So things are going to be a little different, but my my default is the same regardless of where I am. Because I have those. If you've been following us on the Move campaign, metabolic optimization via exercise, you know that one of the things we talk about is what's your 5-minute routine? That routine that you could do at any place, anytime, and you can still get your workout in. So if we're going to be able to maintain those boundaries, we have to have some defaults. And I want you to make sure that you are creating those defaults, because those are going to be the guards that help you maintain the boundaries. Okay? All right. Well, if you're fasting with us this week, I want you to go ahead in the chat. I want you to drop yes, put a yes in there that you are fasting. If you are starting today, kudos to you. My hat's off to you. Congratulations. So we'll be coming back tomorrow, and we'll be doing our 24-hour check-in tomorrow at about 1:30 or thereabouts, somewhere between 1 and 2. I guess I need to start saying that. Tomorrow night, we'll do our 33-hour check-in as we continue through the week. For the rest of the week, things are going to be a little different. So you'll see me checking in on Thursday when we do our pop-up live. We'll do our Thursday check-in from some other location. And then on Thursday night, I'm not quite sure what we'll do in terms of the check-in at 56 hours, but we'll do something there. And then on Friday, we'll have our show where we review fasting, how to prepare for the fast, how to get through the fast successfully, and what's happening in our bodies, and then how to break the fast, because that is a very important thing for us to know, right? So we'll do all of those, and that will be our week. So on Saturday, we'll still have a video from the vault. And then on Sunday morning, This Week in Review. And of course, we'll be right back on Monday for Dwain Woode MD Live as we continue walking down this path of metabolic health and metabolic success. Hey, I am always excited when I get to hang out with you, get to be in this space, and get to see the successes that you're having. I want you to know that I am proud of you, that you've made a decision, that you've decided that I'm doing what I need to do for my health and to make sure that I am heading into long, healthy life. Because after all, that is our goal. Our goal is to keep you alive as long as possible and to keep you as healthy as possible. Hey, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives. Now go live a limitless life, and we'll see you in the community in the fast as we do our check-in. All right, everybody, have a good one. And we are out of here.